Getting pumped, man?
Something like that.
Happy to be back?
We're happy to be back. See, I thought you were going to come in with Mace or something. Little welcome back.
Well, what if I'm over here trying to DJ?
Well, you continue to pump up the jam then.
Because, see, you thought I was going to go Mace. But I felt like it would be more fitting.
Well,
I think this would be a bit more fitting.
I think it fits a little bit more of what we're trying to do over here, right?
I think so. Hey, we're gonna get flagged on YouTube on our welcome back, but who cares?
I know, right? But you're doing this to kick this thing off. I'm thinking you were going to do it for the countdown.
Oh no! On the countdown, everything's muted. We still gotta, give a little
Yeah, a little salsa. Yeah, hey, like we're back. A little Eddie Guerrero action. Yeah.
But hey, welcome back. How you doing, Parlay Pete?
We are doing good. How are we doing? The Imperial AC Lee.
I'm good, man.
Yeah. You like that little twist I had there?
Yeah. It was a nice little twist.
Yeah.
Ooh, man, I don't like how Tyreek Hill's being slept on.
Yeah. I think, and we'll get to that at another date, but you'd be really surprised what they had his over-under at.
It's probably not great.
It's 1,000 yards and it's plus money for the over. Now, I don't know if that's because they think Tua is going to get hurt or that he'll get hurt, or it's kind of wild, though, because think about it this way. Tyreek Hill was the number one player. He was voted the number one player by that NFL poll last year. So, I don't know, just a little weird to me.
You know what? I'm not buying all the bad press. I'm here, but we'll get to that a little bit later, man. We've been gone for a while. Hadn't done a show in a couple of months. Kind of been promoting something new, created some new pages, trying to build a community, build a following.
Yeah.
Because we were kind of washed up, the AC Lee Parlay Pete podcast. I think that was it ran its course. It was washed.
Yeah, it was washed. Kind of like us. We're just a bunch of guys, whether we go to the Roomy Bar in Colony Square or the Nook on Piedmont or the Battery. It doesn't really matter where you go. You just look like a bunch of washed guys, a bunch of guys that they look like they've been through it a little bit. They're sitting there, they got their hats on, they're down low, they're drinking their beer, they're making their comments. Just a couple of washed guys.
But, if you kind of like watch the entire night, say if you had a drone just following us the entire night, you'd see that these guys, they're some winners.
They're fucking winning.
They're daggone freaking winning.
Yeah. And look at me. I'm not even paying attention or doing what I should have did. I'm sitting here cursing already. Look at me, man. Old habits die hard.
You know what? We're trying to rebrand, but we'll get there. And yeah. Tyreek Hill's still on the board. I think I'm just gonna leave him there. That's crazy talk.
For those not aware of the situation here, Lee somehow has a draft going on. Now it's not the real draft because we've got a legitimate draft coming up on Sunday at 5 p.m. Eastern time. I know nobody too much cares to join in on that, but you're more than welcome to peek in and see the shenanigans that the locker room presents. But
we'll have the commission live in
the real draft.
Yeah, we'll have the commission live in studio too.
Yeah, and the first lady.
Yeah.
Hey, Zo.
Does Raj have a wife? Or is he just married to the game?
He's married to the money. I think that last time I looked up, he was making like $46 million or something. And think about it, by NFL standards, he's actually underpaid, even in that capacity. He should probably be making more money than that. But then again, I wouldn't complain either if I was making $46 million a year.
I mean, he has lifetime access to the private jet, and he just bought a little piece of ESPN.
Right. Which kind of, I guess, could transition into our first little segment here. The 3 quick storylines that we missed. That would be considered a part of it, considering it's not something that happened today or that's coming up. What were your thoughts on that?
I think ESPN has sold their soul, and the NFL is now in the venture capital, and it's no longer about football. It is only using football as a means to generate more cash.
So interesting take on that. That's what it's always been about, right? Like that really is actually what it's always been about, and that's what it will continue to be about.
I don't think always. I don't.
You,
I think the league for a very long time it was yes, you want to make money, but you were in the business of football to be good at the business of football.
the last 30 years is when it's changed, and here's why. And this is how I know you have not watched the Cowboys documentary, have you?
I have not.
And guys, don't worry. This show is not going to be like First Take where we're going to sit up and talk about the Cowboys. But I did have to bring this up because I've watched now the first 5 episodes out of 8. And boy, talk about a loaded fucking show. Rupert Murdoch makes an appearance, which is what I'm actually about to get to. Rodgers on it. Obviously, all the great Cowboys. Everybody. They've got everybody in this, seriously. But basically, the way that Fox even came about to the NFL, Rupert Murdoch sat there and talked about the deal that Jerry Jones is the one that pushed the deal. He's the one that pushed the NFL to go to Fox. And then ironically, he had just fired Jimmy Johnson, and then Jimmy Johnson is hired by Fox to talk about it immediately after he's fired. And of course, we know today, it's still true today, the Cowboys get a shit ton of games on Fox, don't they? Doesn't it make a lot of sense? I mean, yes, they're America's team, but doesn't it make sense why the Cowboys are always on, even if they're bad? Why they're always America's game of the week?
You know,
he has a relationship.
But I'm happy a lot of this stuff is coming out because as fans, we get a better insight into what we're watching and what we're consuming. And I think it can help us like manage our emotions with our teams. Because when you understand your team may not be in it, your owner may not be in it just for football reasons, you can then reevaluate how you look at the team, look at the game. And I think long term, it's going to dilute the product, kind of what we see that's going on in the NBA. It's too much data, it's too much analytics. I think we're going to get too much football, too much passing game. We're going to try. It's going to be more entertainment than art and science of a sport that happens to be entertainment, because entertainment used to be a byproduct, which is why we still have professional swimming, but nobody cares about professional swimmers, right? It's about the sport, and it's entertaining during the Olympics when Michael Phelps is kicking ass. But now
and then American pride, obviously. I mean, that stuff sneaks in because once you have something, a winner that you can truly get behind, you'll get behind it. But even if it's not somebody of your country, right? Usain Bolt in that same Olympics had everybody mesmerized. Like it was can't miss TV, right? And so Simone Biles has done it the past few times. Team USA this year, being the Avengers, we knew that this was in a weird way their last dance. And that's kind of what that Cowboys doc was like. But long story short, Rupert Murdoch, they were trying to get away from CBS because CBS was lowballing the owners. Jerry's on top of the world. He just won 2 Super Bowls in a row. And he said, I'm not leaving it on the table. So he called Rupert. Fox was like risque and like kind of like, they had In Living Color, The Simpsons. Like they were more younger TV. And the gamble paid off for them because, of course, that generation of fan, whether you're a teenager, a kid, or a young adult, you are now the primary watchers of football anyways today. Like you are who watches the NFL today. So super calculated move by Jerry. And it goes to show why the Cowboys are worth so much because he is great at that. He's very, very good at that. And I mean, that's why obviously he sits down with Steve Smith and he's able to kind of tell everybody, he's able to call Michael Parsons a little rascal, bro. Like it's unbelievable.
It is. And let me get you to my first storyline that we missed.
Okay.
And I think a lot of the mainstream media missed it too. The collusion scandal and the turmoil in the NFLPA. So long story short, the NFL owners were independent arbitrator found out that they were guilty of collusive behavior, but there was no evidence of collusion, although the conversation was about quarterback guaranteed contracts after not Lamar Jackson, Deshaun Watson got his guaranteed contract, and no one else got a fully guaranteed long-term contract after that. But somehow there was collusive behavior, but no evidence of collusion. And then the Players Association buried it, and didn't tell the players about it. And then it was exposed, and now they're appealing it. The executive director for the NFLPA, he stepped down from his duties, and even the guy that they have as the interim right now, he's kind of a guy that the owners liked. It's a lot going on. It's nasty, but the owners are really showing their hand, and the media is not really covering it at the mainstream level. And it's clear and obvious why ESPN may have it on the front page of ESPN.com, but not on leading first take, because the NFL just purchased 10% of them.
Yeah,
going back to the collusion of the NFL.
Yeah, and just to piggyback just real quick, because I know we got to move on, but yeah, does it really surprise you? Does it surprise anyone? No. You would think that it will be a little bit better than this, but the NFL is kind of that way. But the thing is that at the end of the day, everybody just cares about once that ball is kicked off. That this is really the most important thing. ESPN, the NFL, both of these companies said we're straying away from gambling. Like, before this big boom of gambling, they literally were like, we denounced the shit. Literally. Like, they literally denounced it. Now ESPN is a bookie, which means the NFL is a bookie. The NFL openly promotes it by using their players in commercials, former coaches, celebrities, and everybody to get in on the action, because they're going to get their cut out of it. And so it just doesn't surprise me that the NFL moves this way, but we love it. So it doesn't really matter. It doesn't change our feelings towards whether we're going to watch or not.
No, I mean, we still support the Falcons, and Rich McKay is there. But hey, give me another one of your storylines.
Well, I'll stick to what you're at, and we'll break it down even from what you had said. Pablo Torre being the one that broke it. Let's get into the gambling aspect of Malik Beasley in Detroit, and how they broke that down, and how they were able to talk to this guy in New York who knew something about it, which Malik Beasley was just cleared literally, I think, like 4 days ago or something. He literally did just get cleared, but now it's already fucked up for him. Everybody's been signed. He's not going to get the contract that he was supposed to get because Duncan Robinson has it now. They gave it to Duncan Robinson instead. But that's the dangers of even having your name in it. Terry Rozier has still not been cleared. But these are just two examples of two guys that were put into this, and a little bit of internet sleuth behavior going on. Pablo Torre and I forgot the other guy's name. They were able to basically uncover all this and put it together and talk to one of the actual dudes who knew something about this, and it's obvious that there was something going on.
But with the Malik Beasley thing, I think it's so unfortunate because he's now going to be playing on a 1-year probably vet minimum, which means he may not get the minutes that his talent deserves, which means when he goes back to the market next year, he's going to get lowballed again because he may not have the production, and the team may want to keep him, so they want to keep his number down. I'm not a conspiracy theorist very often, but maybe I've been down too many rabbit holes. But I think because he owed people money in his personal life, they allowed these allegations to come out and be like, you know what, if you're going to stiff us, we're going to stiff you right back. And that's what happens when you play big bank, take little bank with billionaires, because the landlord he owed money to, Daniel Gilbert.
Right. Yeah, which, I mean, it's because he owns the city of Detroit, right? But, I don't know. I get it. That's more conspiracy theory, but, I mean, we'll see. I think that it is tough on him, though, and somebody's going to sign him because he just had one of the best three-point shooting seasons ever. So he'll get picked up, and he's got size, and he's not that old. Pause all the way.
New Kung Fu Kenny.
Oh, I knew it. You were going to bring that out here.
Different pod, but hey, I got a storyline for you. The undisputed demise of FS1's personalities.
Oh.
We've got Skip, who now is working for Gilbert Arenas. 3 days.
Is he really?
Football show. Yeah, Gilbert just signed Skip, Jay Gruden, and Aqib Talib to do a 3-day-a-week football show. That's actually going to be a good show.
For Gil's Arena, basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
Gil's building network.
But who is Gil signed to? He's 100% independent.
He has a sponsorship deal with Underdog. I don't know what the ownership looks like, but I mean they Underdog spend a lot of money over there.
Okay.
I mean,
so
but
it might as well just be Underdog. Yeah, like as if they had their own network. But like,
no, because I think if Gil wants to pick up and leave the IP, it's going to be his IP without the sponsors.
Well, he's got to get past whatever gambling stuff he's doing with Jewish people. I don't know anything about that. Anyways,
he just owned the house. But anyways, but Skip Bayless pretty much fallen off the face of the earth in the last year. Shannon Sharp getting let go by ESPN because of his lawsuit, and Joy Taylor going from an adorable, cute host to now an
adorable, cute hoe.
No, I would not say those words about her. I would say she's a lady that's walking in her truth and letting the world know how she truly lives when nobody asked and nobody really cared.
Guys, I forget that we're PG-13 these days. I've got some getting used to. No, I misheard you. Actually, that was my mistake. I thought you said what I said, but that's obviously not what you said. So we'll move on. Yeah, no, that's definitely interesting too. But one thing that we don't really talk about
would you get Jaylen Warren as your running back 3? Or get a Mecca?
Yeah, Buka. Yeah. As a flex?
Yeah,
I'd go him. Cause
no, he's not even a flex. I got Devontae Smith as my flex. I got Ibuka. I got Drake. I got Tyreek. I got Kamara, Derrick Henry.
You're set at wide receiver. You don't really have to draft another wide receiver the rest of the night. But
yeah, I'm not.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm screwed at tight end. But anyway,
this is a 12-man league.
Yeah.
Wow, that's impressive. But
I'm good. I'm good when I pay attention.
Yeah, and my last storyline that we missed out on, it's something that we didn't really talk about that kind of began before then, but I want to shine a light on it because I think we all grew up such big fans. The John Cena farewell tour. Many people know John Cena for, I don't know him for anything dealing with being in movies, but some people do know him for being in movies. Look at this; he's cut off his thing because he doesn't want to hear any of this. It's a big deal though. They're giving him this like walkout, right? Like kind of what reminiscent a little bit of like what Kobe got when we knew he was going to retire, which we might be getting another one this year. We'll see. But which and maybe that could be the last one you want to bring up. But nonetheless, I just think that it's super duper interesting the way that the WWE works with that and how they're trying to play this. They brought back Brock Lesnar. It's just interesting, the nostalgia. It's kind of like trying to bring in more people that were wrestling fans because I certainly knew about it, and they're already kind of setting up these matches. Like he's going to fight Brock Lesnar. So like I'm interested in that because I remember it so well. But
it's just it's crazy how nostalgia is leading the way in so much of our entertainment because we in this microwave society where we don't actually incubate our talent anymore and allow people to grow with them. So we just gotta rely on the retired guys. And
then Hulk Hogan dying as well. Since I was already doing wrestling, I might as well make that a half and half. Everybody has a very mixed opinion about Hulk Hogan dying. Shitty person, most popular wrestler of all time. That's pretty much. With him.
Yeah, that was my thoughts. I didn't know Hulk Hogan personally. I just knew Hulkamania, and he was good for what he was. And I just don't care about people's personal lives if I don't know them.
Yeah. Even if he's calling you.
No,
even if you're dating Brooke Hogan.
Well, I've not been that fortunate.
Yeah. Okay.
I could talk about the tyrannical takeover of the government, but I'll save that for Culturally Inappropriate with AC Lee debuting soon.
This is Culturally Inappropriate.
Look at you just making these drops.
But no, the last thing I want to talk about is the fall off of LeBron. And I don't even know if it's a fall off. It's just that we don't have much to talk about these days. And the intersection of his fall off with Stephen A's rise. And we have LeBron no longer being the best player on his team. The team no longer being built around him specifically. and solely, and what that looks like for him and his ego, but also what that means moving forward for the NBA and the Lakers and how he's covered and if he's going to continue playing. I mean, we got the Warriors still trying to trade for him. We'll see if that happens. Who knows? And then we have Stephen A. just continue to talk about LeBron James, even when he says he doesn't ever want to talk about LeBron James. And he only talks about LeBron James when LeBron James is brought up to him. I should go Evan Ingram or Jake Ferguson here, but I'm going to go Kyle Pitts. I'm going to regret this, right?
There's the upside is there. I mean, is he tied in one?
Yeah.
Evan Ingram's with Denver?
Yeah.
Go Evan Ingram.
Too late.
Go Evan Ingram.
Too late. I already took Pitts.
Oh, man.
Because I know Sean's going to use his tight ends. But, yeah, the Stephen A. and LeBron thing, Stephen A. is moving up in the world. He's more than a sportscaster. He's now an executive. He's got part ownership over there at Sirius. He has a political show. He looks like he's going to be on the campaign trail. And LeBron falling off as an NBA player. And those two crossing paths.
He got a big shout out from the president, too.
Well, he knows how to appeal to the people who care about him.
Well, that wouldn't be me. But good for Steve. We're really, really proud of Steve. First take, first whatever. But I guess that kind of leads us to really the first true topic of this show.
Are all here to do what okay.
All right, so we're gonna do a quick Falcons first. It's not gonna be as in depth. We're doing an NFC preview next week. We got our AFC preview this week. Probably should have told you all that. And
a little college football preview. We might as well just throw it all out there.
Yeah, a little college football preview.
And we've got a special guest that I am elated to actually say that I have a confirmed text message from that will be joining us next week. We will not. Yeah, I'm not going to say the name, but we've got a special guest joining us.
I was about to tease that before you cut me off.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was going to hit the whole rundown. I was going to tease our special guest.
We're 2 months rusty. All right, cut me some slack. Come on, man. God.
If the people knew the background on the character profiles that we did, I would just make so many jokes about those right now, but we're not.
Good. Let's keep it at Falcons first.
All right, so with Falcons first, what are you most excited about with the Falcons going into this new season?
I think the optimism of the beginning of a new era is probably the thing I'm most excited about. Obviously, the last 3 years, you could even argue 4 in total, have kind of been on this quarterback carousel, right? Like, even with Matt Ryan kind of coming into the end of his time here and his decline, we knew that something was going to have to happen. A lot of people wanted to draft Justin Fields even that year that was Matt Ryan's last year. So it feels like the last 4 years, we've kind of just had these issues at quarterback. I mean, we've had, 5 different starting quarterbacks the last 4 years? Or actually, I'm sorry, make that 6. You've got Matt Ryan, Marcus Mariota, Kirk Cousins, Desmond Ridder, Taylor Heineke, Michael Penix. So you've had 6 different starting quarterbacks in 4 years. I'm excited for the idea of a new era beginning finally, and us getting to see it up close and in person, and just a lot of optimism about this season because I think that this team is talented enough to certainly win the division, and I think maybe this is a little bit biased, but I think it's objective too to be a dark horse sleeper Super Bowl contending team, a team that can be like what the Commanders did last year. I think that the Falcons can do that.
The thing I'm most excited about personally is to see what this pass rushing defense is going to look like. We had we got our draft pick from last year coming back. We went heavy on the DNs. We moved up into the first round to grab a second pass rusher and James Pierce. And I'm just excited to see what that looks like because the Falcons haven't had a pass rush since the Super Bowl year. And if we can get that offense humming, Bijan early, I just need him to break a 60-yarder finally. and we get that good chemistry between Drake and Kyle Pitts. Shout out to my fantasy team. And that defense is allowed to put its ears back and go. And that's what I'm most excited about, to see us put together some 3 phases of football. Now, I got a couple issues, and these are real quick. Saw the roster. Felipe Franks continues to make our roster. It bothers me. And Younghoe Koo is back. Not happy about that, but we'll see.
Well, I don't think he lost the job in camp based on the preseason. At least he didn't miss any kicks. So they were, and for what it's worth, Koo could come and say to us, there's this old Lil Wayne song where the hook went, haven't I been good to you? And he has. For the most part, Koo's been clutch. He lost us the Saints game, and that basically makes or breaks us making the playoffs last year, but it is what it is. I'm with you on the Felipe Franks. I've already told you what I believe. I think that him and Rich McKay, they've got something on the owner, and I'll just leave that at that. But my biggest concern is honestly what you're most optimistic about is the pass rush. The line play in general. Are we going to be able to get some heat on the quarterback? I have optimism about James Pierce, and so does Louis Riddick, obviously, because his bold prediction this year was that James Pierce Jr. leads the NFL in sacks. And I don't know what he saw that makes him think that, but then again, it's a bold prediction, right? And then, of course, now we've got this issue at right tackle that kind of shows up on the doorstep of the season coming up with preseason over. Your starting right tackle that you probably paid 2 days before he got injured, you extended him to 2-year deal, gone for the year. His backup, who's a swing tackle, Storm Norton, out half the year. And so now you're relying on your third string right tackle, and then you bring in a guy from Seattle today. It's concerning because that's Michael Penix's blind side, considering he's a left-handed passer. So I'm a little concerned with both sides of the line. I know we had one of the better lines last year, but like I said, that's a really important position. I don't think we're going to miss a beat in the run game, but it's pass protection. So, we'll see. Pass rushing and pass protection.
Yeah, my biggest concern is the offensive line. That was one of our strong points while the team was down, and to let our center leave, and then to have injuries to 2 of our linemen. It's like, damn, we're down 3 people from a unit that is one of our best units. So we'll see. But
can we do a bonus one real quick?
Sure.
Because we can both share this one. The other concern is Raheem. I mean, that's the reality of it. I think that if there's somebody that we don't have faith in out of everything on the team, it's actually him. So I'm wishing that Raheem does his thing this year, man, and he has the improvement that he had the first time he was a head coach in his second year, because he went 10-6 in Tampa that second year. So my hope is that he improves on his clock management and timeout skills, which was an issue last season in a couple of games, not just the Washington game. Happened in a couple of games. He didn't know how to manage the clock. So I hope that he improves on that, and he doesn't hold this team back from being what they really can be.
Agreed. And I that clock management thing, it's awful.
Yeah.
But that's one of those things that you don't get practice with as a coordinator, especially
have a timeout guy, though. I mean,
I know you have your guy, but it's you being the guy who has the feel for the game and the timeouts. Like, we remember Belichick not calling a timeout against Seattle in the Super Bowl. Just having those years in those games and that feel for the game to kind of know, that's something that it just comes with time, unfortunately. Look how long it took Andy Reid to figure out clock management, and I still don't know if he's figured it out. But let's get to our AFC preview.
Let's get to it.
So for our AFC preview, we're going to start with the AFC East. I think we should just go in descending order, starting with the Bills, the top team in the division last year. MVP coming back. We've got Sean McDermott on a media-created hot seat that may actually last, because if the media says it enough, the fans say it enough, and the team doesn't get over the AFC hump that is Patrick Mahomes, the head coach has got to be the problem. Maybe we're just not the second best team in the AFC. But I expect them to come back. They look great. They got their running back signed finally, and Keon Coleman's in year 2. They're gonna be.
Yeah, and I'm with you. I agree with you. I think that they're definitely going to be the team that's in first this year. Of course, they had a great year last year. Of course, it's just one of those things with me is can they get over the hump? And we'll get to that next week in terms of overall where we think these going to end up in the postseason. But I agree with you. They're going to end up winning the division. They got James Cook paid. They added Joey Bosa. To the line to sub out Von Miller. So I think that's a boost because he's younger and just a better pass rusher. But that was a nice little sign that they got there. And I think, Sean McDermott's still on, to me, this media hot seat because if there is a coach that does somehow become available, he could be out of the job in reality if they lose in the divisional round. Like,
what coach do you think might become available?
I mean, look, there's one that's sitting there now that's won a Super Bowl that a lot of people shouldn't have left Dallas, and he's an offensive guy. Gruden's not working in the NFL, but there's at least just off the top of my head, there's the guy that just got fired in Dallas, and he won a Super Bowl with Aaron Rodgers. I think his name is Mike McCarthy, but
hell of a coach.
And before last season, when Dak gets hurt, he won 12 games. He did what Sean McDermott's doing. He's won 12 games every year too, but he's an offensive guy, and he's actually done it before. And he would fit that area. He kind of fits. He's already done it in Green Bay. He would fit a place like Buffalo. They've got a new stadium opening up.
I don't think so. I don't think McCarthy's a good fit there because McCarthy, he doesn't like the run game enough for me.
Yeah.
And if you're playing up there in Buffalo, come January, baby, we got a ground and pound.
Does he not like the run game, or has he just always had bad running backs on the teams that he's coached? Because when I look at Green Bay, it's like Ryan Grant. I mean, Eddie Lacy ate himself out of the league. Like, those are the guys he had up there. Then in Dallas, I mean, what the hell was he supposed to do with the broken down Zeke Elliott and
Tony Pollard?
Yeah, and Tony, think about it, Tony was the backup, though. He was really the backup in Dallas.
Yeah,
he was the backup. So I don't know. I think I'll give him a pass on that. How about that? Because James Cook's better than all those guys. Because Zeke was pretty much he was starting to be finished by the time he got there.
What about my guy? What about the guy down in Chapel Hill?
Chapel Bill. I mean, he would do it. He would do it to stick it to New England, I feel like. But I don't feel like that would be where he would want to go because that Giants job might open up. And even though Dayball is one of his guys, he always talks about his affinity with the New York Giants. So that would be, but yes, certainly if they can't call him because they have Josh Allen, it's not a reclamation project for him. He pretty much is, hopping into a Ferrari, right? So really, actually, I tell you what, a 2026 F450 instead, because that's Buffalo. That's not a Ferrari town.
Nah, that's a nice F3, F450 diesel, dually lifted, nice big tires.
Yeah.
So what about the Dolphins? The Dolphins have appeared to have the worst offseason.
Is that?
They've been a solid team. They win games when Tua plays. They don't win games when Tua doesn't play. They get Zach Wilson down there as a backup. But the culture is apparently a problem because Mike McDaniel can't get his star players to show up on time. And I kind of have an idea of who he might be talking about because if the fines don't work, that means the players are making a lot of money. And if they're not getting benched, that means they're really good. So you leave it up for discussion, probably the receiver room. But you see they ran off Vic Fangio. They didn't like Brian Flores down there. It appears that accountability and discipline are just absent from the Miami Dolphins. And if Pat Riley has taught us anything about being successful in Miami, discipline has to be at the forefront of your athletic program.
For sure. Obviously, big party town, beautiful women, beautiful beaches, gateway to the Caribbean.
You said beautiful beaches, right?
Yeah, beaches.
Beaches.
Yeah, like South Beach. Yeah.
Okay, I was just making sure you weren't saying something else.
No. I learned my lesson from the first 10, 15 minutes of the show. I won't have another mishap, Mr. Imperial. But my point is this. I think
Did you call me Grand Wizard instead?
I don't know. Are you going to go up on Stone Mountain and say that Atlanta is Atlantis? If you do that, then yes. But
don't call me Grand Wizard. I think that could get us canceled.
Or it could get us on Whitlock. I don't know. We'll see. Anyways, so I know that you listing them second. I don't think that they're going to finish second, but I'll talk about the Dolphins. I think that when you look at that team, I don't think there's a coach on a hotter seat than Mike McDaniels. I think that it seems like his message is kind of fizzled out. He kind of came in with this cool, like, laid-back swagger about himself. They did have early success. They were able to get Tyreek Hill to come down there. Tua did stay healthy, and we saw kind of what they could do. They ran into the Kansas City Chiefs, 2 years ago almost, in the playoffs. They couldn't win in a cold weather game. The first time they went to the playoffs, Tua was hurt. They had Skylar Thompson. Both of these times, we were together, too, for those games.
Yeah, we were.
So crazy. We were in Tampa, and then we were at my house. But, yeah, and both times it was kind of the same thing. And so it's just kind of like, have they reached their ceiling under his tutelage? They need somebody to kind of take it further. I don't know. It seems like a lack of discipline is a big deal. And like you already said, they've lost two great defensive coordinators, two guys that won 14-plus games last year with the defenses that they were running, and both of their defenses were in the top 5 in the NFL. So what's the issue down in Miami? I don't know. We have to start looking at leadership. That's how I think any business would like to go, right? They'll look from the top down.
I'll start with Chris Greer.
Yeah, from the top down. This is what I'm saying.
Because Greer, he hired what's my man's name? Brian Flo. He hired B-Flow, and he hired Mike McDaniel.
Yeah.
So if the discipline is the problem when B-Flow was the head coach, it's not just B-Flow. But I think if Miami doesn't have a good season, which I don't think they will, but I wouldn't be shocked if they won 10 games either. Because if Tua's upright and healthy, that offense is still explosive. Devin A-Chain, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Mike Gesicki, he's not still there anymore. He's in New England. I'm tripping.
They're a 7 to 10 win team. They've got Darren Waller. That's who they got.
Darren the Baller Waller. Straight out of Ackworth. Anyways.
Miss Plum.
Shout out. But
maybe it's a revenge season for him. I don't know. Or either that or the rap records weren't selling.
They definitely weren't selling. But I think Mike McDaniels gets relegated to his correct role in the NFL, and that is top tier offensive coordinator.
Well, I just hope that the Falcons don't do too well to where they come calling for Zach to take his job.
Yeah.
I'll leave it at that. Because I feel like he's going to be one of those guys that is going to get interviews after this type of year. But we will talk about the NFC next week. Now, on to the third team, which I figured we were going to go to the Patriots next anyways. That's who I believe is going to be second place in the division. Take a look at the Patriots. They hired Mike Vrabel after one uninspiring year with Gerard Mayo, which I think we all kind of knew that he was just set up to be a one-year coach. They knew that Mike Vrabel was the guy that they wanted. I don't know why. I guess actually I do know why.
No, hold on. Hold on.
He was in Gerard Mayo's contract to be the coach in waiting.
Yeah, but they were grooming Mayo, probably not thinking
that Vrabel would be available. Yeah, but he was, and they hired him, and he brings back McDaniels.
I like it.
Yeah, I like it too. So it brings back a little bit of what the Patriots were. Obviously, because Mike played there for several years. He's a winner. He's a great coach already. And he does a lot with the little. We saw that in Tennessee. Like, he was able to do that. Hell, he got Arthur Smith a head coaching job. Arthur Smith has no business coaching as a head coach in the NFL. And he got him a job. So did Derrick Henry. But nonetheless, I like that coaching hire that they did. I think that I'm as optimistic as the rest of talking heads in sports media. I think the Patriots will be good this year. I don't think that they are necessarily going to be a playoff team, but I could see them going 9-8 because I think that Mike Vrabel's that big of a culture shifter, and I think that Drake May naturally progresses, and Drake May really does have that Justin Herbert about him. So it's kind of like he ain't going to lose you football games, I guess is what I kind of see in him more than anything. And I don't want to call him a game manager because we just haven't seen enough of him, but I like their trajectory, and I like the way that things are going there.
And I think him having Josh McDaniels is going to be great for his growth and development because Josh can take his time with him. But Josh also knows what right looks like, so he can hold him to a high standard. I think he's definitely going to elevate him. I'm not high on them being a playoff team. Again, won't be shocked, but I think they're going to be a tough out week in and week out. When you play the Patriots, you're going to know that you play the Patriots each week, and I think that's the most important part. Do we have anything on the Jets?
Yeah, of course we do. Shit show. That's what we have on them. They're a blank show. It's just one of those things.
Real quick, Braylon Allen, Leggett, Hollywood Brown, and Brandon Ayuk. I feel like Ayuk's a steal.
Ayuk, yeah, but you're so set at receiver. I mean, you could use one of them as a trade bargain, but
that's what we're thinking when we take Ayuk.
Yeah, but he's a good stash player because he technically should be the number one guy. So I know he's recovering. Like he's not going to play week 1, is he?
No.
Yeah, so he's like a stash guy. Has Ricky Pearsall been drafted yet?
I hope so. I mean, I'm not interested. I mean,
we're really
now.
Well, we'll get to the NFC next week because now you're making. I think I know exactly what you're trying to say about their quarterback. But anyways.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I can go ahead and tell you. I'm picking them to go last in the division next year.
Okay. Well, we'll talk about that. But I think if you look at the Jets, this is a transition year. So the idea would not be for them to really make any noise, but they also have a bunch of young, talented players. I mean, so it's kind of like how good can they be? I think the ceiling is a 7-win team. I mean, that's my ceiling. I think if everything goes right, if Justin Fields plays as well as he did with Pittsburgh, if the Jets defense can kind of get the identity and the rank that they kind of were prior to that. Because think about it, the Jets defense was looked at as their calling card even the year that Aaron Rodgers got hurt the first series. Last year, to start the year, they weren't bad. The defense wasn't bad to start the year. It was just after they made all the firings. And so you bring in Aaron Glenn.
No, when you fire Bob Saleh, the good defensive coordinator.
Yeah, but you brought in another good defensive coordinator. Aaron Glenn's done a terrific job with the Lions, considering all that they had. I thought the Lions defense was always pretty, like them last 3 years, they've been pretty good. They haven't been the best unit in the NFL like how Bob Saleh had out in San Francisco, which is what makes your take on them coming last even crazier. But considering this is a team that went to 2 out of the last 4 in, I don't know. But anyways, they've been in the Super Bowl that many times. But anyways, making me want to get to the NFC. The Jets, at the end of the day, they're a team that I think can be frisky, not to the level of New England, but I tell you what, maybe this is my hot take on the division. I'm not saying – I think they're going to come in last, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Dolphins really tanked out and the Jets maybe had a better record than them. I wouldn't be surprised by that.
I think this year is being Aaron Glenn's year to get his quarterback. If Justin Fields proves that he can be a quarterback, then cool. Which I think he's not an NFL quarterback based on what I've seen throughout his career.
Well, if you ask Hughes, he's busting Fields, not Justin Fields. That's what he said, not me.
I wouldn't call him a bust. I just because he keeps getting jobs, and he did drop in the draft. You know what I mean? He dropped to like 15. But anyways, I don't have much on the Jets.
Guys to get jobs.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have much on the Jets. Let's get to the AFC South. I think this is a pretty easy division to predict. Houston won the division. They didn't play as well as expected last year, but I think that's because the expectations of them were too high. They still were a 10-win team who won a playoff game with a second-year quarterback, a second-year head coach. I think they're okay. New offensive coordinator, new O-line coach. Apparently, they brought in Scarnecchia's underboss.
Mm-hmm.
I believe in that.
Who they hired as the OC?
I don't remember, but look it up real quick. I'm
Bobby
like,
Slowick was the OC last year, right?
Yes.
And he got fired.
As he should have.
Let me see. Texans OC. Because I don't remember who they hired, honestly. Nick Caley, who was previously the tight ends coach and passing game coordinator for the Rams. So, okay, they kept it in the tree, obviously, but that'll be interesting. But more interesting enough about the Texans is the news that we got today. Joe Mixon fucking might not even play this year. So, with them, that's a concern because Joe Mixon came in last year and did have a great year. Like, he played very well.
Yeah, he was the running guy.
Yeah, he played very well. Their offensive line was a little shitty because C.J. Stroud did get hit a lot. You don't have – I was about to say Will Fuller. You don't have Tank Dell. He's done. He might not even be back. I mean, I hope he does come back. I'm praying. I hope he really does come back. But he might be done. He's definitely not coming back next year.
No.
You lost Diggs, who got hurt early last year because he's in New England. We didn't even bring him up in the New England part of it.
He had a good offseason.
So we saw and heard. But, one of their calling cards is that defense is going to be pretty good this year. They've got a good defense. They got Stingley, maybe the best secondary in the
AFC.
Maybe the NFL. Like, they've got a pretty good –
say about that.
Well, we'll get to that division soon enough. But I think that's a better totality defense. But then you got Will Anderson coming off the edge. They still got Daniil Hunter. And they're a defensive coach team. So it's kind of just like, I don't know. That should work in their favor. And they still have the best quarterback in that division too. So, like,
you sure?
Yeah. Because even if he CJ Stroud can't be worse than what he was last year. I don't think he can. Do you believe in junior slumps? Or junior downfalls? We've seen it with injured guys. Like RG3 went from freshman phenom to sophomore slump to damn near basically fucking out of the rotation at quarterback because Kirk Cousins is the quarterback. Like, so we've seen it when the injuries take place, but not when a guy isn't injured. Like, typically, if you have a sophomore slump, but you're a good quarterback, you will bounce back that next year.
We saw it with Trevor Lawrence too.
Well, and look, and he's in that division as well. But I just think that, and I know that we'll probably get to them literally next, but like at the same time, I just look at it from the perspective of my questions for Houston are this. You don't have a true wide receiver too. I like Dalton Schultz at tight end. You had offensive line questions last year, and now your running back, who was a 1,300-yard back, won't be back. And Nick Chubb is supposed to be leading that group, and he's coming off of his third knee. I mean, think about it. Nick Chubb has literally had like 3 knee surgeries, and he's like 28. So, like,
they said he's cooked. Like, they said he hasn't looked good and look good at all. Right.
So now it's like, well, is Damian Pierce the guy, or is it Agumawale at running back? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's what they're dealing with right now. They can't sign a Kareem Hunt off the street because he's still in Kansas City. But it's like, maybe they could make a trade with the Falcons and give up an offensive lineman for Tyler Algier. Maybe that'll help. But, like, I don't know. I still will pick them to finish first in this division because I have to be proven wrong. And I think that they have the best defense, the best quarterback, and the best coach. So that's how I feel.
Okay. Yeah, no, I think they're going to win that division as well. But let's talk about the Jacksonville Jaguars. We've got a new coach there.
Duval.
You know, a guy who kind of hid from Tampa Bay. Oh, Lim.
Did he hide or did he just lie to them? Think about it. Didn't they say he said his daughter was sick? Can you imagine being out with your daughter, bro, and you're avoiding phone calls from your employer because you're trying to get another job that's better? And they don't mind if you get a better job, but you just lie to them about it because you had already committed to staying there and they were going to give you more money.
I mean, and then you just got to tell her, hey, they're giving me this much money to be the OC.
But that's kind of the point. That's what I'm saying. Because you imagine doing that you say that, hey, I'm with my daughter and she's sick.
And then
but you're not answering phone calls. You're texting or emailing people this after they called you.
And Shefty's breaking the story. But I think the bigger story out of there is what's Travis Hunter going to be. Obviously he's playing both sides of the ball, but what does that mean for him, his career? How is he going to get paid? And what does that mean for players moving forward? Because as great as it is for him to be this individual talent that can play both ways at the highest level, you're also getting two players for the price of one. And I don't think the NFL is going to pay you like Shohei Ohtani, where he's getting paid for playing both sides of the ball. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, he's Shohei Ohtani.
Yeah, well, he's going to get paid no matter what because
well, he's just globally. He's just he's
going to get paid because he
he knows bookies. Right.
Don't speak English. Don't speak English. Yeah. I don't speak English.
Yeah, he doesn't pay attention to his bank account somehow. But I don't know. Anyways.
I heard a story today that it's crazy, but no. So what does that look like for players moving forward? What does that look like for him? How will his body hold up? How will his wind hold up? And if he's going to have to play one position primarily, what side of the ball will that be? I think defense is where he should be primarily because of his great ball skills. And I don't think you can sub in on defense like that. I think you got to play defense. I think he can sub in more on offense.
I agree with you. I think that all in all, he should be primarily a cornerback, because their defense was atrocious last year. I think we were definitely on the phone. I think it was a doubleheader, or we were texting at least. It was a doubleheader Monday night game. They played like the Bills. And
I didn't watch that game.
Yeah, I know, because there was a real one on the other channel. But the thing is that I did, because fantasy-wise, I had James Cook, and it's Monday night, so you got to win that matchup. So I was paying attention. I was paying attention, and the one thing I noticed was that I was like, God, this defense is fucking horrendous. Excuse my language, but it's horrendous. And so, he should definitely be in that secondary because Josh Allen. Actually, I'll tell you what happened that week. I played Anthony Gambles, and he had Josh Allen, and Josh Allen threw 4 or 5 touchdowns in the first half. And so I'm like, man, they're gonna bench him in the. No. He piled it on in the third. He actually started running the ball in the third. They're up big, but he's running it now, risking more injury. Then he sat, and Mitchell Trubisky got to, drag everybody to the finish line. But, he should play corner and be occasionally – he should do exactly what Prime did, kind of. But more offense.
More offense.
Right? Because Prime wasn't really
he was a gadget.
At most, Prime caught 10 passes in a season. It's not like he's more – right, gadget. He's like a – I don't want to say – how Devin Hester kind of used to be?
Yeah, but less.
Yeah, so that's kind of how I see it. But my outlook for them, just in general, they don't even. I think getting Liam in there should improve the offense because maybe just the style was stale. But
I think some of it was stale. But I also think that with Trevor Lawrence, his hype as a prospect versus his production as an NFL quarterback, we still haven't level set that
right
to properly. I think now he's being underrated.
Okay.
But because he was so overrated, and I don't think in the grand scheme of things, he's if you look at his career, he's not underrated. I just think in this moment, he is being underrated as a quarterback. And I think his from what I've heard, Liam Cohen has a half field offense. That with quick reads, so Trevor can make quick decisions and not think as much.
That's what Baker was doing.
And I think that's what Trevor needs because he came from Clemson, a half field read offense, and get him back playing that way so he's comfortable. And the turnovers come down, because if not, if Trevor doesn't show something this year, he might be picking up a visor and a clipboard moving forward. He might be Carson Wentz.
That's a hot take. Only because he had just signed a contract. Now, it might not be in Jacksonville where he's starting, but somebody will take a flyer on him just because of how valuable decent quarterback play. Now, I'm with you in terms of this could be his last year in Jacksonville, no doubt. Especially, I guess it depends on how bad he looks. But
I'm calling him Carson Wentz, right? Because Carson went to Indy. Yeah. And he didn't have a bad year. It wasn't great. He was like 23 touchdowns, 7 picks or something like that.
They won 9 games, I think.
Yeah,
I think they were or 8-8, something like that.
Yeah, Irsay just flew off the fucking handle, RIP, because he lost that last game and they didn't make the playoffs. So
and then he picked up Matt Ryan, right?
Yeah.
Good call. We apprecited it.
Yeah, we do.
Made things easier for us, but
yeah, we didn't have to take a whole Miller out back. You do it.
Well, hell, we wasted a third on another guy that's not playing football no more, so I get it. But
yeah. Hey, let's get out of here. Let's get to the Colts. Only thing I think is important to talk about the Colts is the future of Anthony Richardson. I had a inkling that Daniel Jones would beat him out in camp. I think that Daniel Jones is a better professional quarterback than Anthony Richardson. I think Anthony Richardson has more potential, but if we're just going to practice every day and we're going through the offense, I think that Daniel Jones is going to look better day in and day out executing the offense as Shane Steichen designed it at practice. I'm not saying he's executing at an A or an A+ or even a B. But, sometimes everybody can turn in, they test and everybody fail. But, like, you failed with a 65 and I failed with a 40.
Or you get grade on a curve, right?
I mean, that's what you got to do.
Well, in their case, they have no choice, right? But, I guess I'm with you on that. That definitely is the talk of that team. It's the idea that you took this guy 4th, right? He went 4th. And
it was a bad pick when they made it.
But we knew that. I think intangibly, they didn't have the right person there. I know it sounds odd, but you literally, even if he wasn't going to start, you could have had Cam Newton there. You could have had somebody there to, literally, walk him through how to use himself to the best of his ability.
But I don't even think it's just that. I think that their roster was too close to contending because the Phillip Rivers team made the playoffs. The Carson Wentz team almost made the playoffs. We thought Matt Ryan was going to be good there. He wasn't.
The O-line was terrible.
Yeah, right. But
it was. And JT got hurt.
And so then you bring this rookie quarterback in who didn't have a lot of college starts. Probably, if you're talking about long-term NFL success, he probably shouldn't have came out. But I can't tell a nigga not to come out. Excuse me. I can't tell somebody not to come out if you're going to get drafted 4th overall. It's hard to sell that to somebody who's not coming from money. But he needed to be on a bad team that was going to grow and build as he was growing, not a team with veteran players. A DeForest Buckner, a JT, even now Michael Pittman Jr. What's my man on defense? Linebacker leads the league in tackles every year. Zaire Franklin. You got guys, DeForest Buckner. You got guys who are ready to win.
Yeah.
And Anthony Richardson, with who he was as a prospect, was not the prospect for that team. So that's why I thought it was a bad pick. You can't get a developmental prospect for a team that's trying to win.
I think that they're just an average team. in general. Like, really, if you just look at their outlook, they're just super average. And I think with the idea of Irsay even passing away now and having his daughter being not just the, controlling owner of the team, but also kind of being the GM, de facto GM, at least a little bit. I don't know. It just seems like one of those things where this team is kind of destined to be a 7-win team again. Like, there's nothing special about them. They don't have the quarterback situation to handle. It's going to be tough sledding for them. The only silver lining is that they're in the division that they're in. Shane
What?
Steichen's a dead man walking. Chris Ballard, they're dead men walking. Like the daughters are in control now. Like, they're dead men walking.
You don't think they have a chance?
No, I don't. I think that they're both good. I think that it's going to be a clean house all the way around. That's why they have the quarterbacks they have. Unless Daniel Jones shows what he did the year the Giants won a playoff game. No, I think that their jobs are over. I think they're going to clean house. They'll probably try and trade Jonathan Taylor to a team that needs a running back away, like kind of how Philly really needed Saquon. They'll trade him away, and they're going to start fresh next year. That's what I think is going to happen. And don't let Arch Manning win the Heisman and win the national championship. I know that they keep saying he's not going to come out. We'll get to that later, but let's say that does happen for Texas. I don't see a reason why he wouldn't come out. And then if the Colts had the number 1 pick, I don't know. I mean, I'm just saying.
Yeah,
the Giants might be up there too. We'll see. But
yeah, no, I think that they should have already reset, but Steichen couldn't do that because he has a job to keep, and more importantly, the GM can't do that because he was there before Steichen, so he really has to keep a job. But yeah, I think the Colts just need to go ahead and blow it up. And even if you can't get your quarterback, this is now where you reinsert Anthony Richardson as your guy with a new head coach, with a new front office who actually believes in him, is going to build a team around it. They're going to tie their success to him. Like hire, as the ownership, you hire guys. Like, hey, if you want this job, you have to be able to tie your success to Anthony Richardson's success.
For sure. And that's why they failed there. But that's even more of a reason and optimism to talk about the next team that we got coming up. And the least talked about team in the NFL, and maybe the least talked about number 1 overall pick of all time, the Tennessee Titans with Cam Ward. What do you think is going to be a ceiling for a team like this? He looked really good in preseason with Calvin Ridley, which we know all too well about how good Calvin Ridley really is. And Calvin Ridley came out and made that comment saying, I finally got somebody that can throw me the ball. I don't know. We missed that in our quick 3 story here because it's not that important, but he did say that shit. He did say that. So,
5 to 6 wins, man. That's a good season for them.
Tony Pollard, Calvin Ridley, Cam Ward.
Any
chance at Rookie of the Year?
I mean, sure, he has a chance at it. Even with 5 wins, he might light it up, but I don't have any confidence.
We'll have our odds show, and we'll get to discuss that deeper on the chance of him really winning it. But I don't know. I look at them as the Titans are just this team that they generate no interest. And it's weird because, even though Nashville is great as a city, they got this new stadium that they're building that's coming up as well. I don't remember if theirs is going to be built by next year or 2 years from now. I know Buffalo's is next year, but I don't know if they're both opening in the same year. I think maybe Tennessee's is 2 years away. But I saw it when I was just out there 2 years ago that they were starting building. So it might be next year. But they're getting the Super Bowl too. So it's anyways, my point is this. When you look at a team like the Titans, they've never really had much to be excited about since Eric McNair and Eddie George, right?
No, they had CJ2K. They had some of the Derrick Henry seasons.
Did anyone really think that those teams were content? No. Even the year they were the 1 seed, everybody knew that they were fraudulent.
Yeah, but they're still exciting. If you're a fan, you're locked in because if you're going to the games every week. Dog, if the Falcons were the 1 seed, even if we didn't believe in the team, we're still pumped up here in Atlanta because we're the 1 seed.
We never had a year as us as the 1 seed. I didn't think we could win. I mean, even the Green Bay, the year we lost, I thought they could win. I thought they could have won that year too.
Well, but that's kind of my point. When you're a fan and you're in it, you're processing it differently. Even if your team has obvious deficiencies because you keep winning games and you buy the hype.
I agree with you. I don't agree with the Falcons' take of the team. When we were we're just not what those types of teams were.
I wasn't talking about a specific team. I was saying in general. If a Falcons team is a 1 seed, no matter what, we're gonna believe that, like in the city, we're gonna be hyped. We're outside of the city. The national media may say no, but hey, let's push on to the next division.
Yeah,
let's go out west.
Not too much there, but AFC West, of course, I guess it would be controversial to start off with anyone other than the Chiefs.
I mean, I think it would be
1
wrong.
seed.
We hadn't even mentioned the most important news out of the NFL and out of Kansas City is that Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift are engaged.
Even more of a reason for me to stay away from him in fantasy. Didn't you draft him number 2 overall last year?
Not last year, the year before. The first fall off year.
Nuts.
But the year before, he was like a top 5 wide receiver. So the value in it. But the value was so great because if you can get a top end tight end that produces like a wide receiver week in and week out, you can then fill in your receiver depth. It just didn't work because he fell off. The strategy still works. If you have a tight end that can be a top 5 wide receiver in the NFL,
Rob Bowers.
It's better to get the tight end early than it is to get the wide receiver.
But he was, because you know that you'll never starve at that position any week. But like at the same time.
But hey, we're not talking about that.
Tell that to the Atlanta Falcons for drafting Kyle Pitts over Jamar Chase.
Well, that was stupid. We thought that was dumb in the moment.
Yeah. All right. Anyways, let's start with the Kansas City Chiefs. Obviously, they got their doors blown off in the Super Bowl this past year. Quietly went 15-2. They were 11-0.
15-2.
They were 11-0 in 1-score games, and we got to witness several of them because they're on TV every week. But obviously, you got to go to one up close in person, and I watched it from home. But like, what do we make of this team? Rashee Rice, they just came down today.
6 games,
possibly a 6-game suspension. Basically, is what's looming for him. They do have a healthy Hollywood. They do have Xavier Worthy, who had the one bright spot from the Super Bowl. He had a day. Travis Kelce possibly on that last year. Let's get one done because he's married a billionaire. Andy, of course, is. Yeah, I feel like even though I don't expect him to retire after this year, he will be year to year, every year.
Chris Carter.
I think that he will be.
Chris Carter said that Travis locked in this offseason. He didn't do all of the Taylor tour being around her. He was in Miami locked in training.
Because he knew he was going to marry her.
Well, yeah.
If he proposed 2 weeks ago, it's all he knew. It's funny because Antonio Brown, he still tweets and stuff on Twitter, but basically he had it's a stolen tweet where it said Travis Kelce was going to propose to her if they had won the Super Bowl, which I kind of believe. I do think that that's what would have happened if they had won, but they didn't. So he didn't have a reason to. And I know it's like so he waited 6 months later. And it's just like, yeah, he did, but he's been known that he was going to marry that girl.
Yeah, does AB still have that warrant, or did he get that resolved?
I don't know. He still tweets.
I know, but we haven't seen him, and he hasn't gone to jail. Because that would hit the blogs, but
he went out the country, so maybe he just hadn't returned. Maybe he's on his Andrew Tate. I don't know.
The Chiefs, they're probably going to win the division. I think they take a step back this year. I don't know if that step back reveals itself in the outcome of the season. I just don't think they're not going 11-0 in 1-score games.
Correct.
And I don't have a reason to believe that they're going to be better than 15-2. And
yeah, of course not.
In the Super Bowl, like they could be 13-4 and I not like it.
I don't think it's gonna be that.
I don't either. Like
I think 11-6. I can see this division, and we'll get to the rest of the teams, but I could see this division being 11-6, 11-6, and then a 10-17. Like it being like that.
With what's my lineman's name out there? Rashawn Slater, with him getting hurt, that scares me for the Chargers.
Blindside and top O lineman.
But at the same time, with Denver, if Bo
They don't have
Nix,
enough firepower.
if Bo Nix can replicate last year with that defense and another year of Sean Payton, I don't want to. I'm not picking him. I can't pick Denver. Even if I objectively could pick Denver, when I pick the games, if I pick Denver and they have the best record in this division, you guys got to know I won't pick Denver. So fade, like, don't take any Denver commentary I give you seriously. Denver, Clemson. Who else do I just hate? Sports hate.
Sean Payton, the Saints.
Cam Jordan.
Well, anyone really that's the Saint. I mean, if we're
Taysom
being
Hill.
real. Oh
That
man,
was-
well, I can't say it anymore. I mean, Nikola Jokic. I mean, in the
No. I've pivoted off those guys. If they started to have success as focal points in the NBA, I've pivoted those stances. I needed proof of concept. They've proven it. But yeah, Denver's the darling of the NFL offseason. A lot of people think that they're gonna win a lot of games.
I think that they have the best defense in the NFL. That's what I think. I think that Bo Nix proved himself to be, I don't want to say Drew Brees-esque because that is really high praise, especially this early. You know what I think?
What do you think?
I think he could be like Russell Wilson. It's weird because obviously that's who they got rid of. I think he could be like Russell Wilson.
He's so different stylistically, though.
Yes, but in terms of because what? Bo is 6'1", 6'2". I mean, I know that he's still on the shorter end of a quarterback.
Yeah,
but their style too, like young Russ. Think about how young Russ ran. I'm like, that's kind of how Bo Nix is.
No, not at all. No, not at all. Because Russ can't throw the ball all over the field, and Russ isn't nearly accurate as a passer as Russell Wilson is. I mean, as Bo Nix. Bo Nix is more accurate than Russell Wilson. Bo Nix is a more timing, quick processing passer than Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson is a backyard football player, which is why he didn't work with Sean Payton. Because Payton wants you to.
Well, that and then just Russ is not his prime anymore. Like
But even out of his prime, but even in his prime, the way Russell Wilson, he likes to throw the deep ball. Sean Payton is more short, intermediate, using the middle of the field, and Russell Wilson at 5.
Yeah, Drew never had a guy that was taking the top off the defense that consistent.
But Russ doesn't work the middle of the field, and that was the scheme clash with Sean Payton, along with the personality and the entitlement clashes, which I think Sean Payton is more entitled than Russell Wilson. And Russell Wilson had sustained just as much success in the league. So who are you, Sean Payton, to come in here and tell me I can't have my parking spot? Sorry.
Well, because I make more money than you. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that's why I did it. But like at the same time.
Well, no, Sean didn't make more money than Russ.
No. I'm saying, okay, you were saying that Sean's saying that to Russ.
Yes.
Okay, my bad. I thought you were saying him coming in and trying to tell Russ what he's gonna do.
Well, yes.
Like, well, you can't because I make more money than you, and if you cut me, this last year I'm gonna still make more money than you.
I mean, that's what ultimately happened, though, right? Sean said, You know what? My dick's bigger than yours. And Russ said, okay, just pay me.
Just pay me. And he said, look, we can both polish that one Super Bowl ring we got.
Yeah.
He said, look, you want one with the franchise? Me too. That's the only one that they got too. I'm just as remembered as you are because of it.
And I went back to another one. I don't know if you know what it feels like to be in 2 Super Bowls there, Sean.
It's like, all right, you couldn't beat that team that was in our division. Gotcha. All right. Anyways. But no, Denver, I think Denver, the Rashawn Slater thing, it scares you. But honestly, even though I think they got the best defense, I think the Chargers are going to be the team that finishes second in the division because they got the coaching, they've got the quarterback, they've got they brought back Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen was not washed up last year. That was just a crowded wide receiver room. And Caleb Williams wasn't that great. Like, so.
Yeah, a bad OC.
Yeah, so this is what I'm saying. Even with the Rashawn Slater thing, the Chargers they drafted Amari Hampton. They got Najee Harris. So that's an upgrade over what they had at running game last year.
Didn't they have JK?
they had J.K. and Gus. They had the old Ravens running room, and so it should be better. They upgraded running back based on what we know. I don't know. We'll see how good Omar Hampton is, but Najee's really good. And again, Herbert's in another year of Harbaugh system, and you bought in Keenan Allen, and then you get year 2 of Ladd McConkey.
Yeah, and Jim. I mean, Jim's a good coach. And then finally, we got the Raiders. I just think they're going to be an interesting team. They're going to play spoiler all year.
They're going to be frisky. They're going to be New England.
They're going to win 7 games, and you're going to know that you played against the Raiders. Competent quarterback, good tight end. Jacoby Myers wants out. Ashton Genty has to get in the stands now. Pete Carroll and what's my man's name? Chip Kelly. In 3 years, that works, right? I know the division.
I think that's all he's gonna have, though. Like, I don't think Pete. How much longer do you think Pete's gonna coach? Like, so
I'm just saying, like, within they're gonna be frisky, more than frisky. They're gonna be competitive in 3 years
with the new coach, whoever they decide is gonna be the coach. Like, I don't think Pete's gonna be there. I think Pete does his whole contract and that's it.
Yeah, but I'm saying, I think Pete gets them there. Like, they're a good team under Pete.
Pete sets them up the same way that, and I know it's not the same exact thing, but sets them up the way Alex Smith set up the Chiefs for Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, I can agree with that.
Like, he's gonna build,
as long as they get the right quarterback behind Geno.
Yeah, he's gonna build the culture, the competitiveness. He's gonna retain the veterans. They're gonna scout. They're gonna draft well, especially.
And people will play for the Raiders and come to Las Vegas. They will do both.
Yeah, and they'll go play for Pete.
Yeah, exactly. But that's what I'm saying. And Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Even though I know he's got very little stake, and now he gets to get in on the meetings and stuff. But Tom Brady still is going to have a presence there. He's going to show up with his rings, and he's going to be shaking hands with everybody. So
I think Tom called Raj and said, "Hey, Raj, tell these fucking owners, I don't care about, like, I'm not taking this stuff back to the meeting. Just, I need to do my job.
I just want to call the games. I don't care. Why would I not want it to be competitive? Because then it would seem like I was cheating when I was playing.
Which I was. But
no, I wasn't. Bill was.
I just shadowed my phone.
I didn't record anything. I didn't deflate anything. Bill hires the staff. What do players play, coaches coach, management manages.
Okay, Steve.
What do I have to do? I have to learn a playbook. I need to meet my teammates' wives. Like, that's my job. I need to throw at these guys in California during the summer.
Okay, Stephen A. Pete.
I need to make sure that Randy Moss, isn't fucking damaged goods. Excuse me. We're going to get to 6. I got to make sure that Randy Moss isn't damaged goods after his time in Oakland. You know what I mean? Like, these are the things I'm worried about. I got to make sure that Aaron Hernandez is locked in when he's in this facility. What he does on his own time doesn't have anything to do with me.
I have no idea what he does on his own time.
But that was my job as a quarterback, not ball deflating and who's recording. I don't do that stuff. Call Connor Stiles. Ask him. Ask him. Did J.J. McCarthy tell you to film? No. J.J. McCarthy never said anything to them. So why do you think I did? I went to Michigan too. Let's move on to the AFC North, man. I think we will both be in
football.
Huh?
Is it the toughest division in football?
Have you seen that meme of like the 4 dragons, and it's like 3 of them, they look like Dragon Ball Z type dragons, and then there's one that's got like his tongue out.
Yeah.
The Browns are that team. And it's weird because the Browns have not only the best defensive player in the division, but they also currently coach that really at least doesn't get the credit he deserves. I'm not saying he's a better coach than Mike Tomlin, but he might be the best coach in the division currently. Yeah. As of today, in the resume of Mike Tomlin's done more. We know this. He's never had a losing season. He's got 2 Coach of the Years. He has taken a situation where there was one year he took like Dorian Robinson,
DTR.
Yeah, man. They had like 5 starting quarterbacks a year, and they won 11 games. I mean, so he
No
had
Flacco.
he didn't ask for Deshaun Watson.
No, he didn't.
He took Baker. I tell you what, but when people thought Baker was done, he took Baker to the playoffs and won a playoff game. Like he did this. He beat Mike Tomlin in a playoff game. They might have the best quarterback. I mean, not the best quarterback, the best coach and the best defensive player in the division, and they're still not going to win 5 games. So that should say a lot. So yes, best
So
division.
since we're here, hey, let's just stay here with them.
Yeah, let's start from the bottom and go up.
Shador, QB3. When does he play?
You want to know what week?
You can just give me a rough month or time frame. Before or after
November. November.
So after Halloween, before or after Thanksgiving?
Before Thanksgiving.
When does Joe lose the job to Dylan?
After September.
I think Dylan plays like 2 games and he just gets pummeled because nobody looks at Dylan Gabriel and says NFL quarterback. And he's not, he's taller than Kyler Murray, but he doesn't look like Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray is trunky, and he's a superior athlete, a Heisman winner, a number 1 overall pick, not a 3rd round pick. So that should tell you a little bit about his pedigree. You know, I don't see that in Dylan Gabriel.
What did Meta World Peace say? There was a white NBA player that spoke about this. Meta World Peace, basically, whenever there was a white player.
Gordon Hayward.
All right. So Gordon Hayward says this, right? Whenever they played them, Meta World Peace was like, hey, man, I feel like that's the kind of the same way that everybody's going to be when Dylan Gabriel gets in. Like basically, hey, man, we need to tee off on him.
But you got to finish the joke. Hey, man, give me the ball. I got Bieber regarding me.
Yeah, I got Bieber regarding me. Yeah. Now, I'm not saying that, obviously, Dylan Gabriel, is he 100% white? I don't even know. No, but regardless, my point is just in general, what I would think of Dylan Gabriel, I'd be like, hey, man, it's lunchtime, fellas. This is how we make our contracts and get our numbers bigger. This is how we have more negotiating tactics. like if I'm Trey Henderson, I'm just like, man, I got to go to town on the Browns every game.
He's Hawaiian.
You're right. I figured he's like white in Hawaiian, right?
No, both of his parents.
He's just 100% Polynesian, huh?
Yeah, both of his parents are ethnic Native Hawaiians.
Shout outs to them. But
his dad played quarterback at the University of Hawaii, and his mom played softball.
Wow, nice life. But no, either way, I think when you look at them, that's your tee-off game, and then with a guy like Shador. Obviously, because of Prime, I think that there are some people that want to get shit on. They want to get him too, but like at the end of the day, I feel like there's almost like a league-wide respect for him as well in a weird way. And I
think Shador carries himself. I think the way Shador projects to the media versus how he projects to players is totally different. I don't think players have too much of an issue with Shador and how he is. He's probably a pretty cool guy. He's just flashy and talks junk, whatever.
Well, he says what they all say in private. He just says it in public.
Yeah, and as a quarterback, you usually don't have quarterbacks who speak that way, so it's just the extra. And then with the Dion and the brashness and the cockiness, people don't like that. But I'm rooting for Shador. I'm not going to sit here and say they're blackballing him, they're railroading him. I don't know. Just go play good football, man. Any thoughts on what Eric Dickerson had to say about little NFL collusion with Shador?
I don't believe any of it. So who all 32? Like who did it?
No, I don't think it's an all 32 thing.
Only the quarterback needy guys got together, right? Like
if it happened that way, yes. And I typically don't believe these things.
I don't believe it.
But then when you have the collusion stuff that comes out around the quarterback guaranteed contracts, that then opens me up to believing that these owners will do anything to just make a statement. And here's what I think. I don't think Eric Dickerson made up what he said. And I think that's the most important takeaway from this. I think that he was fed information from a reliable source, and that source may have fed him BS, but I don't think he was intentionally spewing BS just for the narrative.
I don't know if you realize this. We got like a comment, it looks like here.
Yeah, I ignored it. I looked at it and let it be.
Okay. Yeah, I wasn't very sure. But nonetheless, yeah, well, anyways, that's enough on the Browns to begin with. Let's move up the ladder. Pittsburgh Steelers.
No, it should be the Chiefs. No, it would be the Bengals because the Pittsburgh Steelers did make the playoffs last year.
I thought we were going in order of what we think is going to happen this year.
I have not done my over-unders yet.
Well, we'll go to the Pittsburgh Steelers because that's who I think is going to finish third. Aaron Rodgers is being slept on.
Yeah.
I believe. I don't think that he's getting enough credit, and I think that Mike Tomlin – now, their issue is going to be Arthur Smith, but and the fact that they do have Najee kind of – I'm not saying Najee – I know they drafted Caleb Johnson out of Iowa, but I don't know. The running game will be paramount in how successful they can be because Aaron Rodgers does still needs a running game that's going to be effective. You bring in DK Metcalf. I hated the idea. But I hated the idea of not keeping Pickens with them. Like, to me, that was like kind of counterproductive. But I get it, too. You don't want to have both of them in the locker room together. But if there's anyone that has shown us that they know how to handle that type of stuff in the locker room, it's Mike T. I mean, you tell me, Lee, when you get on Twitter and you see AB and Le'Veon Bell, you're like, man. And then Big Ben, let's not forget what his history's like. It's like, God, he dealt with all this.
Yeah, no, I think that
and they went to 2 Super Bowls and won one.
Yeah, I think I don't think you can have those two guys in the same receiver room. I think it creates too many problems for your quarterback. And from the behind the scenes stories that I heard about Pickens, I'd rather dance with the new devil. This devil may be worse. It may cost me a little bit more money.
I don't think he's the worser of the two, but I think he's the better player and that he's not as bad.
He's just more expensive and older.
Yeah, that was really going to be the thing. He just cost more.
But here's what I'll say. I believe the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to make the playoffs. I'm not saying who's going to win that division. I just think they're going to win the playoffs. Let's get to the Bengals. The Bengals have tried something new. They've played their starters in the preseason.
Yeah. Good call. I wish we did the same, but we didn't.
Shout out to Zach Taylor for saying, you know what, my methods haven't worked for getting the season started off right. I know we got a good team here, and we've been good every year, pretty much that Joe Burrow's been healthy. And I mean, they were 9-8 last year, but they just got off to that slow start, and it just wasn't enough time. So let's get started early. Trey Hendrickson, what's going on there? Mike Brown needs to sell the team.
They're giving him $14 extra million this year, though. They added. It's weird because it's not a 1-year extension. They're just adding to this year. So I think that they're going to let him walk after this year, but they're paying him enough to where, well, let's see what we do. And then if they win 12 games, they have the option of paying him, or they can franchise tag and trade him. There's so many more options. So why not give him a raise for the year? But they did. That is what they had already said. They're giving him $14 million, so he will make $30 million this year. He'll be 31 after the season, so we'll see what type of contract that yields seriously. But
I'm not mad at them not paying him. But
they got all that money tied up in 3 guys on the other side of the ball. I mean, they couldn't pay Joe Mixon. That's why they traded him.
And he's old, and your 17.5 sacks didn't
help the defense.
Yeah.
But then again, it also is like, well, damn, if he didn't get that, how bad would it have really been is the real question. If they didn't really have somebody that could get some heat back there. And you just drafted a DN. Shamar Stewart, the guy who also held out over a contract. But
again, that's why I say fire Mike Brown. I mean, Mike Brown sell the team. That Shamar Stewart stuff was just adding new clauses that can void out contracts. And I understand the language and why you go with that language, but that's not a precedent that you've set. So let's leave it alone. But let's get to Baltimore, the darlings of the division.
Super Bowl favorites.
They're going to win the division.
They're literally the Super Bowl favorites.
Well, I'm going to pick them to get over the hump this year because I'm going to make that pick every single year till I'm right or the roster's gutted.
Hey, again, old habits die hard. I said it earlier, so I'll say it again. I mean,
I picked them like every year for like the last 4 years.
Old habits die hard. And so, yeah, I think, they, and rightfully so, they really should be the favorite. But like at the same time, what did they do to truly get better? What did they add this year? They didn't really add anything. They're one of those few teams that didn't really add anything. And so
I don't think they need to add anything to get better. I think their issues are game planning and execution in the big games, which it's not a roster problem. It's a, hey, John, get on the headset and say, hey, Monken, we've ran the ball all year. Run the football, Monken. Run the football.
So I tell you what, because we disagree across the board about them, let me ask you this. Okay. What happens if they underachieve this season? They make the playoffs, but they underachieve and they lose their first playoff game. Is there any consideration about getting John out? Any? Do you think that there's just any consideration by Baltimore at all?
To me, you know me, I don't want to fire coaches who are winning. So I would think not. Now, if you have back-to-back disappointing seasons, like, hey, we get a first-round playoff exit and then we miss the playoffs, or the Bengals get back, or Pittsburgh goes on a crazy run, I think there's other outside forces that also have to overachieve.
And work against them.
To make it work.
Well, I agree with that, but at the same time, I guess I look at it from the perspective of this. Marty Schottenheimer went 14-2 with the Chargers one year, and they lost the playoff game. And he got fired.
That was stupid.
And he's been there a long time. They've only been to one. It'd be another thing if they had been to another. He's only been to one. He did win it, but he's only been to one. And I think it's starting to show the power of what a Super Bowl can do for a coach's legacy. Because there are a lot of guys that hang around with just one appearance. I mean, it's not like they went to multiple. They went to one. They went to one. They won one. Now, we could look at Doug Peterson on the other end of the spectrum, and he got fired kind of quickly out of Philly and then got bounced even faster in Jacksonville. But, like,
you got to look at the
one
culture.
Super Bowl.
You got to look at the culture.
They win. They win, right? Consistently.
But you also have to look at the culture of the franchises. Baltimore, not really a team that changes coaches regularly. Like in our lifetime, it was what Brian Billick into John Harbaugh.
Yeah, it was Brian Billick first because he won. Yeah, he won the 2000 Super Bowl with them. So
then they may have had a coach in between. I don't think so.
No, it went straight to John. He got fired in like 2007. I'll never forget because the Ravens almost beat the undefeated Patriots that season in Baltimore on a Monday night game.
Yeah, so when you look at a franchise like that,
with Kyle Bowler,
you look at a franchise who they don't move around. Like Ozzie Newsome is still there. He's not the cost of the GM, but like he's still in the building. He still has his seat at the table. You look at Pittsburgh. Not a lot of change is going on in Pittsburgh historically. You look at even what went on in New Orleans. Mickey Loomis is still the GM. Sean Payton left on his own because he didn't want to rebuild down there because he and Mickey put him in cap hell. So I just think it's the culture of the franchise. And I wouldn't move off of John unless you're very confident in who his replacement is going to be. And for them, I think it's so difficult because kind of like Philly, it's a top to bottom organization that's kind of ran on one accord. But Philly has way more control over their coach than I think Baltimore does. So the coach has to be able to fit into that Baltimore culture and what it is that they do, because Ravens teams have a certain identity, and it doesn't matter who's on the field, who's the coach. They still have a physical football.
That's the presence of the team. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if there's Ray Lewis or Sizzle.
Yeah,
or Ed Reed. Like, those guys don't have to be there.
Brian Billick, offensive coach. John Harbaugh, special teams coach.
Teamer. Yeah,
they're still fucking physical.
Well, I think if they underwhelm, somebody's got to go, and maybe it'll be the damn good dog, Todd Monken, which I don't know why it would be, because he's had such great seasons. But
you know what? That can take us into our next spot. Let's get Todd Monken back home, and because we kept Mike Bobo. Did I mess up your transition?
Yep, I was about to do it. That's okay. We're working out the kinks, guys. We're getting back into the groove.
Somebody
that's why I did say that, literally.
Yeah, somebody missed practice yesterday.
Well, hey. Anywho, yeah, let's get into week 1 of college football.
Let me pull up the schedule.
Yeah, we've got a giant slate. There's literally 4 top 10 matchups. Or excuse me, it's 3 top 10, but there's 4 top 15, I believe. And I know we'll get into them with the picks, but all in all, let's talk about the dogs, man, because that's what we care about on this show. And, SEC football is king at the end of the day anyways. So that's what we're going to talk about when we talk about college ball. What do you see the outlook?
I think we should kind of put that out there. When we're talking college ball, we're talking CFP contenders sometimes. We're talking Georgia football, and we're talking the SEC.
Yeah,
that's it.
And the picks they'll vary, of course, because it just depends on what the odds are and who's playing. But
hey, we're not watching all of that football every week, and now we're gonna be doing some live pop-ups and stuff on Saturdays.
Yeah,
we're not gonna have time to watch these games, and we don't want to waste your time with bullshit analysis that we've taken from somebody else.
Right, because this is a truthful and honest podcast and reliable information source. And so, but let's talk about the dogs. Gunnar Stockton, obviously biggest question for the team. And I think, honestly, the running offense, like just the rushing game in general. I didn't realize this. That we finished 12th in rushing in the SEC last year? That's pretty bad for Georgia standards. And I think even optically, the defense wasn't as good as it had been. It's not that it wasn't good. It just wasn't as good as it had been.
Understandably.
What's Kirby got to bring out this year that's going to make it a little bit different in a much more parity-ridden SEC? Because there's 7 teams in the top 25 out of the SEC, or 8 rather. There's 8 teams in the top 25.
Yeah, I think I'm not worried about the defense because we lost a lot the year before. It happens. I would like to see that running game get a lot better. I don't know what we're going to get in Gunnar Stockton. I think we're a playoff team, but I saw something that said don't be shocked if Georgia's 8-4 next year. I wouldn't be totally shocked because I don't have a great feel for this team yet.
It was Hudson Mason that said it.
Yeah, it was Hudson Mason.
I don't give him too much. I mean, I know he played for the Dogs, but he's arguably the worst quarterback they've had the last 20 years. So it sounds like, or maybe he just knows ass when he sees ass.
I mean, he watches his own film.
I don't know, but he's a Mark.
Shout out to Jake Fromm for getting a job at Allstate.
Is that what it is now? Because they said it was another insurance company, and it's Allstate, right? It wasn't State Farm, which is what the issue was. They're like State Farm just missed like the biggest opportunity in the world. No, they didn't. Jake wanted to keep his job, so he didn't want to get an NIL. And he do a State Farm college football commercial.
Hey, look, we got Texas Ohio State Saturday. Big noon kickoff's going to be there. Game day is going to be there. It's going to be Lee Corso's last game.
Is Dave Portnoy going to be there?
He can't be inside of the stadium.
That's what the rumor is. Is that really true?
Dan Le Batard talked about it.
But I just want to know how true that is, because if he's working with Fox and he wasn't banned prior to coming there, how can he be banned?
I think there's specific people can be in specific places when it comes to the production piece, and I don't think his requirements lend him the necessity to have that access. So because he's not required to have it, they're not going to give it to him.
Right. They're just going to deny it. Gotcha.
We didn't talk about that too much, but I don't care about Dave Portnoy.
I think he's going to suck.
He doesn't exist in my sports intake. He doesn't exist in my media intake. I don't really care about any product over there at Barstool to include $1 million worth of game. I know there are a lot of people who like that show, but instead of giving $1 million worth of game, I think more people should offer some minimum wage or just a decent living wage in the game that they give, instead of just trying to make it $1 million all the time. I don't even like $1 million worth of game because they would align themselves with Barstool. I'm not gonna lie to you, Parlay Pete. I couldn't take this to Barstool.
No. I think we have an idea of how we foresee the future of what we believe, especially backed actually with like a bunch of cash, like what it could really be and how we would have this set up. But like it wouldn't be under them. Yeah, pretty much. That would be who we would want to be with. Or if Shannon does open up something, I can see myself getting. I'm not gonna call him a coon because he might watch this first episode, but I'm not gonna like coon it up and like drink Hennessy and shit like all over the place either. So I don't
think he'd expect that from us. He'd expect us to be ourselves with a little bit of coaching and some money behind us.
There you go.
I could go to Shannon. If Joe Budden ever wanted to expand, I could go there. The Black Effect with Charlemagne. I don't know if iHeart goes into the catalog. They may not, but people say things.
Yeah, I understand that people can clean up their act if need be.
Yeah, I'd go over there. But no, I couldn't go to Barstool.
Yeah.
I have dignity.
Yeah. Not all money is good money, right?
Yeah, no, but back to college football. We got Texas, Ohio State. Arch Manning's coming out party. He's the Heisman favorite. People are saying he's going to go number 1, but he hasn't really started a game that's mattered. And right, wrong, or indifferent, he couldn't beat out Quinn Ewers. Now, Joe Burrow couldn't beat out RIP number 7, Dwayne Haskins. And I don't think that was a football. Just like I don't think Arch Manning not being able to beat out Quinn Ewers was a football decision. But yeah, man, Arch is the guy.
Yeah, I think that obviously there's a lot of expectation. I mean, he's the Heisman favorite this year. Texas is certainly, if they're not the favorite to win the national championship, they're top 3 in odds on that.
Number 1 team in the country.
Look, Vegas is into making money, not losing it. So if they set these odds this way, they believe kind of firmly in it. And of course, the market could be dictated by, the big wigs out there. But I look at it this way. It's a put up or shut up year to a degree for Sark because we've talked about Arch for 4 years. The year before he even decided where he was going to go, when they showed Nick Saban and Kirby Smart at his basketball game, to him deciding that he was going to go to Texas, and then everybody was like, but then Quinn Ewers had transferred. The same year they signed him, Quinn Ewers transfers from Ohio State, and he was just the number 1 guy, and they gave him $1 million at Ohio State, and he didn't even play. I feel like it's been a long time coming, and I can't recall a more hyped Division I quarterback ever.
I don't think there's ever been one because he's a Manning, and he's
got the pedigree in the blood, right? Like
he's got the pedigree. He was a top quarterback in high school. He can touch every blade of the grass on the field, both passing and throwing, passing and running. Yeah. So I think there's a lot of hype there, but then also sucking up to the Mannings being in the media, the Mannings being football
royalty.
Yeah. I think that he's getting a little extra hype that he may not deserve, but not too many people want to say it because it's so unpopular to say. But we have no reason to believe that Arch Manning is the best quarterback in college football. Other
I
than his
don't think he is. I think it's Nussmeier out of LSU. That's who I think is the best quarterback. But
no
yeah,
club.
and you want to know why? Klubnik was much better last year.
Absolutely.
But that was his first great year. Them other years weren't really good. Like he wasn't really that good them other years. So it's funny because they're playing each other. So we'll get to that in the picks. But
Dabo let Link's little brother. He actually let him open up the offense, and they didn't run a Clemson offense. They ran a Garrett Riley offense.
And maybe that's why they beat SMU to win the ACC last season, and even had Texas on the ropes for about 3 quarters.
Hey, shout out to Lincoln Riley. His 5 starting quarterbacks from Oklahoma are starting week 1 of the NFL.
Isn't that crazy? And he had Dylan Gabriel there at one point too, didn't he?
No, I think no. Dylan
that was Brent Venables' first quarterback.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Well, I was close enough, but yeah, we'll see what happens with Arch. And I'll say a little bit more about that once we get to the picks. But
I don't have much on college football yet. I don't believe in Penn State.
I tell you what, we can do this. You don't believe in Penn State?
They have all the tools. I just got to see it happen.
Real quick, give me a Final Four. I know, again, you're saying you don't know too much, but just even if we got something to revisit towards the end of the year. I tell you what, who wins the Power 4 conferences? Do all 4, assume all 4 make it to the Final Four, and then give me a national champion.
All right, so I think Ohio State wins the Big Ten.
Okay.
I think Ohio State and Penn State at the least come out of the Big Ten. I think that in the SEC, I think Texas, Georgia, Bama come out. I can't give you my top 4, but I'm just going to give you my teams who I think are kind of the top
Fringe.
of each. Yeah. ACC, I think Clemson gets out of there.
Don't sleep on Tech.
I'm not sleeping on Tech. I think they're going to be scrappy. I'm not sleeping on Miami. I don't believe in Long Neck, but Cristobal can recruit, and Carson Beck with talent. We know what that looks like. You're
for sure. He can win games, and they just had the number 1 pick come out of there. That was in his first year. Yeah, in the Big 12, I think it's spunky. I think Texas Tech is spunky because they bought all those players. And I believe in Kenny Dillingham and the program he's building down there. So I like Arizona State. But I don't love the Big 12 enough. I don't watch the Big 12 enough. I don't consume enough Big 12 media for you to care about what I say on the Big 12. Well, just know that they'll be on TNT this year as a part of the swap for Kenny, Shaq, Charles, and Ernie. There's going to be some. We got 12 minutes. There's going to be some Big 12 football going on that network. But I tell you what, at the top. At the top, I'll just give you my Final Four. I think Penn State will be in it. I believe that. I know this one's gonna ruffle a lot of feathers. I really like LSU. I think LSU's this is gonna be finally the year that, because to me, Brian, and we've talked about this before. To me, Brian Kelly, he has to do it though. Like he kind of has to do it, but he's got the quarterback to do it. So yeah. So I really like them, and I don't know about Ohio State. I can see Clemson. Because of the schedule. So Clemson, that's going to be a big game, obviously, to start the year. But I can see Clemson sneaking in there because they'll be seated correctly. And then I want Georgia to, of course, be in there. But my thought is that Texas is going to be there because I think Archman is who we think. I think that he is who they say he is. That's what I think. Okay, and hey guys, we're gonna bring Paul back. We didn't do too much of that last season. Yeah, we're gonna bring Paul back some weeks. We're trying to keep the show to an hour and a half, but for these introductory shows, we're hitting 2 hours. So I think it's time. Yeah, let's get to it. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for Parlay Pete College Football 6 pack. 666. It's crazy. I miss hearing that, Lee. It's been a minute. Not because, think about it, even before the show, we hadn't done picks since football season. So it's been a long time since we've actually even had to do it. So it's exciting to be back because, again, that tells me it's football season. And then they also got pumpkin spice latte as well at Starbucks. So I guess it's fall.
It's fall. Hey, guys. Hey, real quick. And coming soon, the six-pack and the six-packs and Leaves 3 will be a sponsored segment. More to come soon.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Very exciting time. But let's get to it. So the first game, I've got to always throw in a game that won't be on a lot of people's radar, but it's just too easy to not take, even though it's a huge spread. We got Missouri State at USC. Guys, if you look at Lincoln Riley's track record and the fact that they got what's-his-face this year at the dude that was at UNLV is actually at USC this year.
The quarterback?
Baller alert. It's what's his name? He was going somewhere. I forgot his name, like already. Point being, this USC, they're at home. Lincoln Riley, guys like him and Lane Kiffin like to run up scoreboards in these first games when they play teams. Like, they will continue to try and score. They're not running out the clock. Like, they're up 30. They're throwing bomb passes. Like, everybody's getting involved. I like USC minus 35 against Missouri State at home. I know that sounds crazy, but these type of games typically are 52-0. So I really like them to cover that. Next, kind of gets into the same ballpark of what I was just talking about. You got Georgia State at Mississippi. Anyone that watched Georgia State football last year, which I know that there's maybe quite a few alum that might even get to see this, but if you watched Georgia State last year, they had a hell of a game with Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt was actually pretty fucking good last year. If you look at this, again, Lane Kiffin likes to score points, and he's not holding back because, especially, he's got to know now, Jackson Dart's not even there. They got to score some points. Georgia State was actually capable of scoring points last year, too. 60 is really low. I like over 60 in Georgia State at Ole Miss. Again, Ole Miss should definitely get into the 40s, and I just don't see Georgia State not scoring twice. So that's how we get to 60. Next, we got the biggest game of the week. Obviously, number 1 at number 3, Texas at Ohio State. I like Texas. Again,
on the road.
Like Texas. I like Texas on the road. So here's why. Julian's saying, obviously, Alabama recruit that initially was committing, but as soon as Nick Saban left, he left himself. He's getting his first start. He played very seldomly last year. This is a stacked Ohio State team, but they did lose a lot of stars. Yes. Do they still have Jeremiah Smith? Yes. Do they still have what's my boy, the safety that was also came from Bama? Caleb Downs. Yes. They've still got these guys. Is Ryan Day still there? Yes. But who's missing at OC? Oh, Chip Kelly's not there. Interesting. How did they replace that? I look at it this way. It's a tough game, but for Texas, it's a must-win game. For Ohio State, to me, it's less of a must-win. I think for Texas, they almost have to win the game. I told Justice this earlier. I think they have to win the game.
Who's your pick?
We're going to go ahead and take Texas on the money line. We're going to take Texas on the money line. Next, we got Virginia Tech at South Carolina. This one's actually going to be down the street for me, basically. So it's not really VTech at South Carolina. It's VTech against South Carolina at Mercedes-Benz on a Sunday.
South Carolina.
Yeah, we're going to take South Carolina minus 6.5. I don't see a reason why they wouldn't cover. Lenore Sellers is somebody that people think is a Heisman contender, and they did look good last year, and South Carolina almost snuck into the playoffs. So Give me South Carolina. Next, we got this one's a Friday game. We got Georgia Tech at Colorado. I think Tech's going to thump Colorado. Colorado really hasn't been all that good these past few years anyways. And you're telling me that they're putting Keaton Salters in? Yeah, no thanks. I watched Liberty play football last year, and I also watched Georgia Tech play quite a few times. I'll take Georgia Tech minus 4.5. I don't think that this game is actually even going to be that close, but give me Tech 4.5. And then finally, arguably the second game of the week, you got LSU at Clemson. I like LSU plus 3.5. I'm not going to take them to win the game, but I do believe that they'll cover the spread because I think one way or another that this game comes down to a game-winning field goal.
All right, so we've got USC minus 35. We got Georgia State at Ole Miss over 60.
Yep.
Texas on the money line.
Yep.
South Carolina -6.5.
Uh-huh.
Georgia Tech -4.5.
Uh-huh.
LSU +3.5.
Yep. That's it.
You like it? Then I love it.
And then that means it's time for Leads
Leads 3.
three.
Leads 3.
Leads 3.
All right, so for Leads 3 this week, we're going to get on out here. I like South Carolina -6.5. They look good at the end of last year. They got Lenore Sellers coming back. He's a Heisman hopeful. I'm optimistic to see what they're going to do. I'm a homer. Give me Georgia Tech -4.5.
Yeah.
Colorado lost a lot. Coach Prime hasn't been there all season, all off season. He's been dealing with his battles. Glad he's healthy. Been dealing with his sons. Shout out to Shiloh. But I like Tech. They got something going on over there. And lastly, give me LSU +3.5. I like LSU on the money line. So if you're feeling real frisky, go ahead and do that. But we like LSU on the money line.
That's not a bad call, though. Again, Garrett Nussmeier, to me, probably is the best quarterback in college football. That's just my opinion. That's who I think is the best quarterback this year.
Yep, I pretty much agree with you. We may give out some Heisman hopefuls at some point during the year. We don't do the preseason college like we do the preseason NFL. We're pro guys over here.
Yeah. I mean, I tell you what, we could tack that on with the NFL over-under show, and once we do all the prediction awards stuff for that too, we could just throw that in as a bonus.
Yeah. Anything you want to hit these last couple of minutes? Obviously, happy to be back. Hey, real quick, can I have a few minutes to talk about the Love Island reunion?
We didn't, and that's actually a perfect way to end this.
So watched.
You're on the clock.
Yeah, so we watched Love Island this past summer. We talked about it some on the pod, but I watched the reunion yesterday, and I was appalled watching that reunion. It's bad enough I watched the show. Summertime, it was slow. It was introduced to me by a shorty who watched the show. That's kind of how most men get into these shows, right? A woman in your life or around you gets you into the show.
And we weren't potting.
So it's easy to just watch it. So I'm watching the reunion, and the people aren't even really beefing about the stuff that happened on the show. They're beefing about stuff that happened after the show, talking about, why didn't you tell your fans not to do this? Why did you say this on a podcast? This and that. Dog, who cares? Why do y'all care? I understand this is like your claim to fame. And I guess that now we live in a world where being famous is more important than being talented and being famous as a byproduct of your talent and your skill. You know what I mean? So now we got like these list of mid-20s, early 20s people who are famous. Like the Love Island community is huge. A lot of people that follow it. It's all over my threads because I've shared too much stuff. But in my day-to-day YouTube consumption, my podcast consumption, my real life, Love Island doesn't exist. And like you people just don't matter. And just listening to the Hood, I didn't like how you said this on this podcast. Hey, yo, who cares? Grow up. Like y'all just want to like manufacture beef. It's manufactured bullshit. The show itself is manufactured BS. Then this community is manufactured BS. And now y'all are manufactured famous. No, get out the mud and be good at something. I blame Kim Kardashian for making being famous for the sake of being famous cool. Sorry, ran over. Parlay Pete, I gave you a minute.
I don't even need a minute. I think that I agree with you in terms of the overall scope of what that show represents. It doesn't take away the attraction to the women, but I mean, of course, that's kind of how they keep guys hooked in, and even the women too, and just kind of the admiration aspect of it. But all in all, I don't know if I'll watch it next year. I think that just getting pulled in this year because of Huda, because I kept seeing that pop up, and then my niece was like, "Yeah, you should watch it." Then I was like, "Oh, I know why everybody hates her. I get it now because she's hot."
And the reunion really showed it.
Like, yeah. Well, and then like all that stuff showed. But yeah, all in all, it was a good watch. Don't know if I'll tune in next year for something like that, but very interesting. Hopefully, I'll run into one of them one day.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning into our pilot episode. We'll be back next week. Actually, we'll be back Sunday with the draft. AC Lee out.
Salutations, good people.